So it's recording now. I'll upload this onto YouTube so that you guys can have a copy of this and you can access this lesson whenever you want to, okay? Once I upload it as well, I'll be sure to email this out to you as well. And I'll provide the link as well, okay? So if you want to revise and have a look back at this, you can do at any time, okay? Now, we're going to have a look at this. We've got 0 minus 4, but we can't do that. So Muhammad, I believe, no, sorry, Ahmed said that we have to borrow from the 1. So we're not going to have this 0. That's going to turn into a 9. But we actually have to borrow all the way from this 1. So see this 0 here? We're going to borrow from a 0 there. That's going to also turn into a 9. You have to borrow from this 0 here. And we don't stop until we reach a number that we can cut down nicely. We also have to borrow from this 0 here. So that becomes a 9. This next 0 here, we also have to borrow. It becomes a 9. Oh, but then finally, we can borrow this and we can turn this 1 into a 0. Okay, so then, okay, that's fine. So all of these numbers here at the top, just all these zeros there just turned into 9s. Okay, so now we can actually start calculating downwards now. What's 9 minus 4? We start from the right and we go downwards. So what's 9 minus 4?
5.
5. What's 9 minus 5?
4.
4. What's 9 minus 8?
1.
1. What's 9 minus 5?
4.
4. Awesome. So, and our decimal point goes there. Oh, you were so close, Afnan. You're off by 1 cent. 1 cent, 10 cents. So I still would have given you like 1.5 marks here if you got 41.46. So yeah, we can drop a dollar sign there. And if you wanted to show a bit more working out on the side here, you can say, okay, it's $41.45. Okay, so it seems really confusing, right? Like when you look back at it. But just remember, think about it realistically, and you read this question and you make sure you understand what's going on here, okay? If you guys can read this and understand what's going on here, that you spent this much money, well, if you want to figure out how much you spent in total, we just add those two numbers together, which is what even Din said. And, you know, after that, if you want to know how much money you had left, well, it's the difference between the 100 and the 58.54. Okay. So reading the question and understanding what goes on really helps us understand how to set up the question to calculate. So with this here, it's not designed to confuse you. This is just instead of putting it in the calculator and instead of trying to do it in your head, we write it out and we set it up so it makes life easier for us. Okay. All right. Now with question number 4 here, how do we do this? Does anyone remember what we do with a decimal place if we multiply it by any number with a base of 10?
We do I have to type it in the chat because I don't want to
Yeah, okay, Idris, I'll let you talk. Yeah, go for it. Explain.
We have to move the decimal point to the right depending on the zeros.
Okay, when would you move it to the right?
When you're multiplying.
Okay, correct. So you move the decimal place to the right when you're multiplying. How many times would you move it if I had to multiply it by 1,000?
4.
4 times? It just says 3. Tana also says 3. Why do you guys say 3?
Because there's 3 zeros.
Okay, so yes, perfect. You guys basically explain the same thing, just using different terminology, like different ways of saying it, which is fantastic. So because there's 3 zeros, and Tanner, you also said because that's how many zeros there are. Awesome. So does that make sense, Mohammed?
Yeah, Mr. I thought there was 4 zeros.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. We're just checking. There's 3 zeros there. All good. So if we have 8.35 times 10, what would our number be now? Can you type it in the chat, please? Thanks, Idris. Thanks, Mohammed. Orlando, Emre, Ahmed, if you can type it in the chat as well, please. Riley. Oh, I'm lagging. Am I lagging? I might type it in the chat. Can you please type your answer in the chat for part A? Yep. Thanks, Riley. Okay. All good. Thanks, Tanner. All right. Which way is to the right?
I'll type it in the chat, mister.
Is this the right or is this the right?
The right one's on the right, the arrow under the 10.
Yes, okay. So this one's to the right side, yeah? This one's the left side. If you hold your hands out in front of your face and you make an L shape with both of your hands, you'll say that the left one is your left on your left hand. Okay? So you make your hands and you point your fingers like this. Here's your other fingers. Yeah? You can see that it shows an L shape here. So that's your left side. So Mohammed, would you like to rewrite your answer? See this decimal point here? We move it 1 space to the right because we're multiplying by 10. So move right. That's what that times there means, yeah? And this 0 here, because there's 1 0, we move across by 1 decimal place. Okay. Yep. Fantastic, Orlando. Fantastic, Mohammed. Thank you. Move that over there. That means our answer will be 83.5. Okay. I would even write it out like this. I would show some working out. If I wanted to show some working out, I would go 88.35 and move the decimal point 1 across, and there it is. Okay, because our decimal point was over here. All right, what happens if we divide by 100? What does divide mean? Does it tell us to move to the left or does it tell us to move to the right? Angelina.
Right.
I want you to compare it to the question at the top. What symbol do you see there?
Times. No.
Yeah, and what do you have to do when you times?
You move it to the right.
Okay, so what do you think we should do if we divide?
You move it to the right.
Hmm?
I mean left.
Yeah, so the opposite, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how many decimal places do you want to move to the left?
2 times.
Yes, okay. So can you type in the chat what your answer will be? Try to work it out on paper and then type it in. Fantastic, Angelina. I think that it's 1785. If we write our answer as 0.1785, do you think I would accept that? Mohammed, fantastic as well. Tana, Riley, fantastic for answering left. 1785. Interesting. So we've established that we needed to move to the left, yeah? So here's our decimal point. If we move to the left, we move this way. 1, 2. Nan, I think you moved it to the right. That's incorrect. Oh, geez. Do we leave our answer as 0.1785? Are you happy with that? If so, say yes in the chat. Should we add any other numbers to it? Okay, Angelina said no. Don't you put a 0? Where do you put the 0?
In front.
Yeah.
Yep, in front. In front of what?
The decimal point.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, so make sure you put a 0 in front of the decimal point. So our final answer here is 0.1785. Okay, and Mohammed, you said yes, 0. Which doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand that. Okay. All right, so that's how we multiply with the base of 10. Okay, and we can only do that when we multiply with a 10, 100, or 1,000, or if we divide by a 10, a 100, or 1,000. Okay. I haven't taught you how to do recurring decimals yet, have I? Because I think that's when I went. Although I did leave a lesson behind on Education Perfect, I want to see if you guys understand what to do here. How do we set up this 13 divided by 8? Or 13 over 8, if we want to calculate the recurring decimal. Does anyone have any ideas? Okay, I'll start you guys off. We need to put the division box. Okay, so remember how we do like division and we put like numbers inside and then the outside here? And then we write our answer at the top. And we have a remainder of whatever. We did this at the beginning of the year, yeah? Where should this 13 go? Do you think the 13 should go outside or on the inside?
Inside, right?
Inside, that's correct, Angelina. Fantastic. So the numerator, or the number at the top, goes on the inside. And where does the 8 go?
Outside.
Outside. All right, let's put the 8 there. Okay. So we set it up. Where's the decimal point on that 13, by the way? Where should we put the decimal point on that 13? Should it be the red, the blue, or the green? Can you type that in the chat? Where should the decimal point go? Red, blue, or green? Just say the color. Okay. I'm gonna wait for a couple more people to answer. All right, thanks Ahmed, thanks Angelina. Thanks Mohammed, thanks Tana. Orlando, Riley, you want to type it in the chat? See what you think it is. Where should the decimal point go? I just realized Abdul left. I can't mark him present. And I also can't mark Maluka present either.
Yeah,
Din, are
so
you still here?
I got nothing.
Din's not here. Okay, that's all right. And then Maluka's not here. What? Ezra's not here. Riley's here. Dennis, you're here. Angelina, Dion, Ahmed, Orlando, Abdul's not here. Let me just tell you guys, the decimal place for that 13, 13's a whole number, yeah? So where do you think, like say for example, the number 100 before, where does the decimal place go? So blue, so we've got all colors here. We've got people saying
Red.
blue, we've got people saying green, we've got people saying red. So you're suggesting that the decimal point goes at the front here. Is that 13 or is that 0.13?
0.13.
Yeah, that's 0.13. That's not 13.
So does it go on the green?
That's correct. And I've got a lot of people changing their answer to green now, which is fantastic. Same with the 100, yeah? You don't put the decimal point at the front here because that's 0.1. That's 0.1. If you want 100, you need to put the decimal point at the end there because it's a whole number, yeah? So, okay. So we know that the decimal point should go after the 3, okay? But what's after the 3? What numbers are over here?
Zeros.
Zeros. They're just a bunch of zeros. That's correct. And that keeps on going on and on and on forever. Correct, Dion? Correct, Ahmed? Correct, Tanner. Awesome. Now, I want you to start doing division here. So just like how you would do it. Okay. I'll start us off. 8. How many times does 8 go into 1? 8 times 0. Right? It doesn't fit in. So it goes in 0 times, but how much do we have left over? We have a 1 left over. So I've got a 13 now. And then you keep going. Okay, ignore the decimal place for now, but just keep going. I'll let you play around with that first. All right. Just had to email the people at the front office. So if you have a look here, 8 into 13. So what's going to help us here? Let me just pull up the multiplication table once again. The multiplication chart. So I can have that as a reference. It'll help us. Eight times what equals 13? I'm going to look here at the 8 times tables. Okay. We want the number to be smaller than 13, which means we want the 8. So we want, okay, so we got an answer from someone. So we don't want to get the 16 because that's over 13, yeah? We want to get the number just under 13, which is 8. So that's 8 times 1. So 8 times 1. All right. How much do we have left over? 8 times 1 is 8. From 8 to get to 13, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've got 5 fingers here. I'm going to put that 5 there. Let's go to our next number. Our next number is 50. It's 50 now. Which number can we find closest to 50, but it's not over 50?
48.
48, fantastic. Ahmed also said 8 times 6. So 48 is our number, and that's 8 times 6. Okay, so we write the 6 at the top there. You can see that's the number at the top. Our number is 48. How much do we have left over to get to 50?
2.
2, correct. Okay, so that's remainder 2. How many times does 8 go into 20 now?
2.
Yep. So you can see the number under 20 is that 16. So we want that 2 and that 16. We're going to write the 2 at the top. Because 8 times 2 is 16. How much does it take us to get from 16 to get to 20?
4.
4. So that's our remainder. Okay. How much do we have to write here? I'm just going to extend this line out because we need it a bit more. How many times does 8 go into 40 now?
5.
5.
5. Awesome. Okay, so you can see 40, and you can see you needed the 5. The 5 there goes at the top. And do we have any remainder?
No.
No, so that's it. We don't need any of this anymore. Okay, that's it. We're done. No remainder. 0 remainder. So we're done there. That stops. Okay. So do you notice how we can use the times table to really help us? Now, where does the decimal place go?
Next to the 1 and 6.
Between or next to?
Between.
Yeah, between. Awesome. So you can see the decimal place. We bring that up now. And so is our answer 13? So our question was 13 over 8. What's that equal to? Yeah. Is our answer 01.625? Have we ever seen a number like this before?
No.
No.
So how do we write our answer then?
Can't we just get rid of the 0?
Yeah, the 0 at the front there, we don't need it, yeah? How do we read this number now?
1.625.
Fantastic. I like how you said, like after here, you didn't say 1.625. You said the numbers individually. So 1.625. Awesome. That's it, guys. Like that wasn't a recurring decimal. So that stopped. I want to try another question with you, just on this note here, just as a bonus one, yeah? I want you to see if we can do 2/3 as a recurring decimal. So how would you set this up? Where would the 2 go and where would the 3 go? Where does the 2 go? Does it go on the inside or the outside?
Outside.
I want you to compare now. I've
Oh,
got Tanner
inside,
saying,
inside.
I've got Tanner saying on the inside. Fantastic. You can see here, the 13 at the top, that went on the inside. So the 2 is at the top. So that means the 2 should go on the inside. And you can see the 3 there. Well, let's compare it. At the denominator here was 8, and that went on the outside. The denominator here is 3, so the 3 should go on the outside. Okay, I'm just going to move this over here so we have a bit more space to work with. Where does the decimal point go for that 2? Does it go at the front?
After the 2.
After the 2. Okay, fantastic. And what should we fill out the rest of the line with after that decimal point? Thank you, Ahmed. Tanner, thank you. Fantastic. Zeros. Okay, so let's fill it out. I'll just put 3 for now, and we can always add more if we need it, yeah? Okay, so how many times does 3 go into 2?
One time.
So 3 times 1 is 3, yeah? Is that a number bigger than 2 or is it a number smaller than 2? That's a number, that's a bit of a problem, yeah? Because that number's bigger than 2. Have a look. We want to find a 2 on the 3 times tables. But we can't find the 2. The 2 should somewhere here, yeah? So if we can't go 3 times 1, then we have to go 3 times 0. Okay, so 3 times 0 is 0. Our number is 0. How much do we have left over to get to 2? From 0 to 2 is 2 numbers, yeah? I want to do this so you can see that we have to carry that 2 over, and you can see that this number here becomes 20. Does that make sense? So our number now is 20. What number should we write at the top here? Can you please type it in the chat? Use the times tables to help you. Awesome. I've got people saying 6 at the top. That's fantastic. All right, 6. So the number 6 goes at the top. Okay. And what's 3 times 6? That's 18. What's our remainder? Can you type the remainder in the chat? So the remainder would be written in that little box there. Tanner, fantastic. Mohammed, awesome. What's our remainder? Afnan, correct. Orlando, Angelina. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Awesome. So you can see here, our remainder is 2 again. Oh, okay. So then our number becomes 20 again. So what number should go at the top then? How many times does 3 go into 20?
6.
6. Oh, okay. That's strange. 6. And what's the remainder going to be? 2. Correct, Afnan. Oh, but it comes up at 20 again. Oh, so we know this pattern. And then we can fill it out more. We know the remainder is 2, so we get another 6. But then if we write a 6 at the top, there has to be another remainder of 2. So you have to keep going. When will it ever end? Does it ever end?
No.
No, it doesn't. So if it never ends, and correct, Anna, it never ends, how can we, should we just stop then? We should just stop, yeah? Let's figure out where we need to put the decimal point first of all. Where do we put the decimal point? Between the 0 and the 6, so you see it lines up. So our answer here is going to be 0. So 2 over 3. This question here, 2 over 3 is going to equal to 0.6666, and we know it keeps on going forever and ever. But we don't want to write a number like that, do we? So this is where the idea of recurring decimals comes in. Okay, so if it's a recurring decimal, instead of writing out all these 6s, yeah, we know that it's going to be a 6 all the way. We just need to say, okay, it's 0.6, but I know this 6 is going to continue forever. So that's the symbol there that we say that 6 is going to repeat forever. It's a dot on the top. That's what we say is recurring or repeated forever. Recurring, reoccurring, repeat means the same thing. So that 6 there, because there's a dot on top of that 6, that 6 is going to repeat forever and ever and ever.
It's gonna be
Okay.
66666.
That's correct. So that's recurring, which means that this number will be repeated forever. Okay. Does that make sense, guys? That's the idea of recurring decimals. All right. It's 2:32. I might do this question and then I will we'll end our lesson here after we finish these 2 questions. Okay, you guys have worked pretty well today. Round each of these numbers to 2 decimal places. What does it mean when we talk about 2 decimal places? Does someone care to explain? And by the way, this idea here, I have my year 11s and my year 12s getting this wrong. And yes, I'll show you a question actually from tutoring methods. This is year 12 work, guys. Let me just show you here. See in this question here, it says correct to 3 decimal places. So this skill here, you need to have all the way until year 12. Okay, so if there's one thing that you need to master, if there's one thing that you need to get really, really good at, it's rounding numbers to decimal places. Okay, I'm warning you guys now. So next year, you'll do rounding again. In year 10, you'll do rounding again. In year 11, there will be more rounding, but they'll expect you to, yeah. And then year 12 as well. Rounding is so important. That's it. You need to round, you're talking about money, right? Sometimes you have to round it to 2 decimal places because you don't see 51 $51.4. No, you have to say $51.40. So that's 2 decimal places there, okay? So 2 decimal places means that after the decimal point, here's our decimal point, we need to underline the next 2 numbers. So I'm just going to rewrite this number out just so it's nice and big. 213.1287. Here's our decimal point. After that decimal point, we want 2 decimal places. Okay, but do we just write then, therefore our answer will be 213.12? Does anyone agree there? Because that's to do 2 decimal places, yeah? Does everyone agree with this answer here? Should I move on? Hello?
Mr. Then you just
No,
have to
mister.
do 2 and 1.
Ye-
2.1.
2.1. No, this is 2 decimal places because you can see after the decimal point, there's 2 numbers. So I'm right there, but I'm just really wondering if you leave this as a 2. Should we leave that as a 2?
No,
What are we going to do with that 2?
put it into the 1.
Okay. Maybe I need to teach you from the beginning, yeah? So you can see here that we've got 12, yeah? Or 1.12. When you round it to 2 decimal places and you have your 2 digits, you need to look at the next number. The next number is the important one because it's going to tell you to round up or round down. So what does the 8 there tell us?
Round up
We
to
have-
10.
Okay, we need to round up, not to 10. Well, technically to 10, because 10 means that we have 2 plus 1, which is 30. Okay, so this 8 here rounds up the 2. So
And
our
the two-
answer will be 213.13. That's our final answer. So I'll do it again for another random number. 45.763, 7658. I want this number to 2 decimal places. So 2DP means decimal places. What numbers should I underline? What numbers should I underline in this question here? If I want 2 decimal places, the 7 and the 6. Fantastic, Angelina. Thank you, Ahmed. So I want to underline the 7 and the 6 because they're after the decimal place. So then I have to look at the number 5 here. If it's the number 5, should I round up or should I round down? If it's a 5. Ahmed, I've got an answer from Ahmed. Tanner. Okay. I've got an answer which says any. So it doesn't matter if we round up or if we round down. But I see that the majority of people are saying up. Yeah, so okay. If it's, you might say any because 5 is the middle number
It's even.
between, what? 5 is odd, man.
No, the number is odd, but like 5 is like even.
Like smack bang halfway in between. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
like it's
Yeah.
it's right in the middle.
Yeah. So the rule though is if it's a 5 or higher. So if it's a 5 or higher, we round up. Because this number here is a 5, we need to round up the number. So which number do we round up? Do we round up this 5 or do we round up the 6? Which number do we round up?
5. 6.
Six, yes.
6
So
has
see,
to
this
go.
number tells us what number we have to round up before it. So see that number 6, that's going to round up now to a 7. So our answer here, if we want to round it to 2 decimal places, it's 45.7. The 6 here goes up to a 7.
So do we always go like up once and down once?
If we round up, so here's the interesting thing. If we round up, we go up by 1. Yes. But if we round down, we don't go down by 1. We just stay at that number. Okay. Another way to look at this. Yep, Angelina?
Never mind, just speak.
All good, all good. Okay, so have a look at this one here. Another way to look at it. So you've got your 2 decimal places, yeah? You can read this number here as 65. And 65 is actually close to 70. And that's why we round that up to a 7. Which one makes more sense? This way or the second way? Because I explained it in 2 different ways, yeah? Do you like the bottom explanation more? Or do you like the top one? Just type in top or the bottom if you like. Ahmed, you like the bottom one more? Okay. Idris, you like the bottom one more? Awesome. Angelina, Afnan, Tanner, Orlando, which one do you like more? Do you like the top? Mohammed, awesome. You like the bottom one more? Yeah, you like the, okay. So the bottom one here seems like better, yeah? So maybe I'll do the same thing here. See how that one was an 8? So we got up to the 2, yeah? So we take the 2 and the number after it. So this number here is 28. What's that closest to? What's that closer to? 20 or 30?
30.
30. So can you see if we want 2 decimal places now, it's 1, 3. Ta-da. Okay, so let's try this one here, 0.03417. 2 decimal places. So here's our decimal point. We take our first 2. What number are we going to draw in a green box? Can you type it in the chat? Which number are we going to draw in the green box? Just the 4? Is it just the 4 or do we? Hello, I need you guys to answer. Help me out here. Have a look at the other examples, yeah?
Zero.
No, so you want me to draw a box around this part. Angelina, you're correct. Tanner, you are correct. Can you have a look at, compare it with these other ones? Does that look the same?
Nah, mister. It's at like 4 and 1.
No, I want to grab the 3 and the 4 because you can see here, this box takes the blue line, the last blue line, and the next number after that. So you can see this one here as well. I take that 6 because it has the blue line and then the number after that. Does that make sense, Idris?
Yes.
Okay. So we're looking at the number 34 now. Is that closer to 30 or is that closer to 40?
30.
30 or 40? Okay, so it's closer to 30. So I'm going to scribble this one out. So you can see here, now we just want 0.03. So that 3 there stays as a 3. Okay. Likewise here, you can see we can compare that to a 20 or a 30. So we don't want the 20 because 28 is closer to 30, yeah? And here as well, you can see that the 65 there is technically closer to 70, not 60. So I'm just going to put a line through that 60 there. We want the 70. Okay. But when we round it, we only round and we take those two numbers. Those are 2 decimal places. Okay. Can I give you one that rounds up to 3 decimal places? I'm sorry, it's time now, but I'm just going to give you a question here. 5.1748, and I want you to round this to 3 decimal places. This will be your last question. When you answer this, you can leave. I want you to answer that to 3 decimal places. Type your answer in the chat. When I check you off and say you're correct, then you can leave. Ahmed, the answer is incorrect. Nope. Ahmed, nope. That is incorrect. Tanner, are you guys writing the number out? Mohammed, that is also incorrect. Angelina, that is also incorrect. Okay, I'm gonna do it now. And because you got it all incorrect, you need to do another one. 3 decimal places, 1, 2, 3. You see this last one here, it's 74. We know that this 74 is actually closer to 70. So we take 5. Now we count the decimal places, yeah? That 0 is the first decimal place. This 1 is the second decimal place. And this 7 here stays as the 7. That's 3 decimal places. I'm going to write you one more question then. I want you to do this to 2 decimal place, sorry, 3 decimal places once again. Three decimal places. Once you've got it, that is incorrect again. That number that you typed out is 185. Do you see me writing out 170 something or 17? Correct, Angelina. You may leave. Fantastic. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Correct, Mohammed. That is correct. You may leave. Thank you.
Bye, mister.
Bye. What about everyone else?
Yeah, Mister. Sorry, Mister. When you said, well, you know, it's over time, we're gonna do one, and you did it. My little brother came, hit me, and tried to show me something on his iPad. Although I wasn't paying attention, he put it
Yep.
loud.
Okay, give me a second. Afnan, Tanner, you can leave. Thank you very much. Fantastic.
So, are we answering the 82.18562?
Yep. I want you to type the answer in the chat. Yeah, you can leave, Afnan.
Okay.
Ahmed? Ahmed, anything? Okay, so you see here, when it says 3 decimal places, can you see how this number here has 3 decimal places after the decimal point? That's what it means by 3 decimal places. And you actually need to write out the whole number. Like you have to write out that 5 as well. You don't just write the numbers after and then just say, that's it, that's my answer. That's incorrect because you're not rounding it. Say this number up here, it's 45.7658. How many decimal places does this have? That has 4 decimal places at the moment, but we don't want that many decimal places. We only wanted 2 decimal places. Do you get this so far? Do you understand this so far?
Yes.
I'm talking to Ahmed. Ahmed, yes? Can you see here that this is rounded off to 2 decimal places now? Our cutoff point was here. Because you can see that's 2 decimal places, yeah? Do you understand that? Okay. But then you see this, between this line here, it's a 65. What's that closer to, 60 or 70? 70. Okay, so I'm going to write a 70 here. But can you see, remember our cutoff point is at that blue line. So can you see now that our number becomes 45.77? Does that make sense? Okay, so where's our cutoff point here? Between which numbers is our cutoff point? Correct, Idris. Correct, Ahmed. 5 and 6. So I'm going to draw a line there. What's that? Now our number becomes 56. Yeah, what's that closer to? It's closer to 60. Correct, Ahmed. So can you write our rounded number in the chat, please? Fantastic. Oh, 82.186. Fantastic. Idris, what's your rounded number? Can you type it in the chat? All right, Ahmed, you're free to leave. Does that make sense now? All right, awesome. Idris, that's 4 decimal places. You wrote 82.1862. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places. I wanted 3, yeah?
Mister, because there was a 2 behind the 60.
Yeah, we don't want anything after this. We don't want anything after this.
Why?
Because we wanted 3 decimal places.
Ah, so
How many decimal places do you see here?
3.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
So that was that's the main purpose of these questions.
That's
To
correct.
the amount of decimal places.
That I asked for, yes.
Okay.
So our answer will be 82.186.
6.
That's it. Correct. You see there? Maybe I should do that line method as well. I think this method here works best. Does that make sense now?
Yes, Mister, it does.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna compress this and I'm gonna send it off, okay?
Mister, do I stay?
No, you can leave, man.
All right, bye, Mister.
All right, take care. Bye bye.